as many of us have found, water is the central feature of most gardens, whether it's a traditional garden, a wilder native plant garden, if you want birds and wildlife there. Almost any kind of garden scheme can be benefited by adding a water feature to what you're doing. And particularly if you enjoy the peace and quiet of a beautiful surround of a nice waterfall or brook, making a more peaceful retreat for you from the noise of society around us. So for those of us in native plant focus, bring conservation home, wild ones, we have found that water is an essential part of having the garden. And even if you're not native plant orientated, the addition of water really helps complete your garden. Bees, butterflies, birds, wildlife of all sorts need water access all year round.
Especially in the winter.
Exactly. And
moving water in the winter is so important.
The emphasis here is on moving water because even with the severe sub-zero weather we've had recently, moving water doesn't freeze. So the wildlife can still gain access. Before I had my pond working in my garden, the squirrels and local wildlife went after my irrigation system and damaged it in their desire to look for access to water. And along with that, even though we're focused on water gardens, there are a large number of native plants for the water gardens that we have. We have our own water lilies that are native to Missouri.
Yes, we do.
A very large range of native plants. And native plants that have all different levels of, shall we say, tailored look or formal look to them. Everything from being very tailored to completely wild. So even if you favor a more traditional look, you can incorporate native plants and water features into a very traditional garden setting.
You know, we've talked about how other societies can join us. We can network with each other, and that's another way to learn and to see more different types of gardens. You know, I belong to the Hosta Society.
Exactly.
Hostas and ponds go great together.
Yeah, they do.
And I just read an article about herbs being planted around the pond or near the pond area. We have an herb society, so there you go again.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. And I remember, I've never not had a pond. I always tried to somehow create a place where I could get some water to stay and some frogs, because that's what I always wanted to have near my house.
We don't have a very large pond, but it's interesting and it's different every time you look at it.
Right.
Absolutely.
We had our pond built so we can see it out our kitchen window and our breakfast room, as well as sitting on our patio.
Right.
So we get the whole view all the time, and of course the waterfall is fantastic because people come just to sit on our patio and listen to the water. And that's another thing about ponds that people love so much, is the sound of the water.
Yeah, that's true.
Watching the fish, we love watching the fish, the things they do, and how they're in movement all the time. Even when it was frigid cold, 4 degrees, our fish were still moving.
Oh my
and we
God.
could see them.
Yeah. Pond is a work of dedication and artistry. You know, I can't do art otherwise, but this is my creative outlet, and it's really a 4-dimensional issue because it's space, it's height, it's time of watching it grow and develop and change with the seasons. So a lot of people that have come through in my pond in years say, well, I'm really not ready, but I'm here seeing, you know, the garden and how this all interacts.
Well, we call ourselves a water gardening society, you know, so we're not just ponds. We could just be water features. You know,
Indeed. Yeah. And that's a really good point because there's a variety of things. We've seen some owners that have like a lotus in a jar with
Or the
mosquito
whiskey
fish.
barrel.
Yeah, or a whiskey barrel. You know, I have.
And you see that with the bamboo fountain.
Yes.
It's a very nice sound.
I have a
very
little
calm,
fountain in
soothing.
mine.
Yeah.
Just because you go, oh, that's an interesting addition, and it still adds that beautiful tranquil sound, but it's in 4 square feet.
Right.
So that's one of the great pleasures of finding out how these ideas maybe I can use. Even if you're living in an apartment and have just a small balcony, you can put a water feature in there as well as you can put a garden.
And it will attract the birds.